This is the Happiness Breakthrough Show with your hosts, Becky and Dr. Mark Leonard.
On today's episode, I think that we're going to need to go deep for a little bit.
I love, like deep sea fishing.
And then you make me laugh.
Deep waters?
We were in deep water.
Yeah, we were. We were in really deep water.
We mentioned on last week's podcast that this period of time that we're going to talk about today was the biggest trial of our faith. And if you know anything about us, you know that we've been through a lot. Just high level.
High level. Like
high level of a lot. Like
you want to drop some of the high level, a lot deep things that we've been through?
Yeah.
Okay, go for it. I want to hear what your list is.
Marital problems.
Oh, sure. You start there. I didn't want to start with that one. Okay, keep going.
Children with serious mental health issues. Children that were abused.
Bankruptcy.
Well, because of all of that, just trying to keep our kids afloat. We've been through a lot. And I would say, hardest thing that we've been through, the biggest trial of my faith anyway, not the hardest, but the biggest trial of my faith was was like 2017 to 2020. Isn't that funny? About the time that COVID was hitting was about the time that I think that we were finally figuring it out.
Yeah.
That's ironic, right?
Isn't that ironic? It's like when the world stopped, we were ready to go again.
I know. Okay, we got this. Let's go now.
Oh, my goodness. For those of our friends that are still our friends and they were our friends during that very dark period,
we're sorry.
You are amazing people.
You are saints.
You are definitely saints. And there's something special about that friendship if you stuck around, because it got really dark for us. You said trial of our faith. And I think there are so many great symbolisms for trial of faith. And one of the things I often think about is a storm.
And it started with a storm.
A literal storm.
Let us give you a little backstory, though.
Hurricane.
So we mentioned previously that Mark had finished his doctorate. He was now officially Dr. Leonard.
Woohoo!
And man, it was a sacrifice to get there for the whole family. I actually threatened to run up and walk across stage with him when he graduated.
I'm still shocked that you didn't.
Well, I know I didn't because you told me you will be carted off stage. They said don't do it. And I was like, fine.
The only reason why they said not to do it means that someone actually did it.
Well, they should have. The family should walk because it is. And when I walk, I might ask if you come with me.
Ooh, I will be hooded because I have my doctorate.
That's true.
Oh.
So here we are. Mark's finished his doctorate, and we've sacrificed greatly, and we're making good money now. And we're doing, like, really good things. I've got my online business going. I'm now making the same amount of money as he was.
You were making more than me, sweetheart.
I was crazy. It was a really good business. And he had his job. I mean, do we dare say?
Go for it. We can say anything.
I mean, for a short period of time, we were making like over $200,000 a year.
Oh, yeah. Easy.
Yeah, because I'd replaced his income. And so when the company that he was working for started doing layoffs, we were like, you know what? We would be okay. And we actually came up with a date.
Yes. It was amazing. We're like, okay, tell you what, if I'm not laid off, we're going to quit effective July 1st. Do you remember why we picked July 1st?
Because then we could have a decent anniversary.
Yes, because our anniversary is on July 2nd, and we were getting ready to go on a 4 or 5 week road trip. And we're like, well, I don't want to take vacation time. Why don't we just quit? Your income has more than replaced my income, so let's go for it. And the funniest thing happened, because, you know, we like to plan, we like to be strategic, we like to figure things out. And after going through horrendous years, overcoming cancer. That's a whole nother story. Overcoming major lung surgery during that time period, having obviously all the kid problems, the marital problems, the family problems, the problem because I actually, I could say this now, I hated my job.
He did.
With a vehemence.
Babe, I knew that.
Oh, you knew that, but when I told my boss that, he was really hurt. However, that's another story. So one morning, I get a phone call from my boss, and he goes, "Hey, Mark, are you going into the office?" I'm all, "Yeah, actually, I'm getting ready to leave. I'll be there soon." And he was in another state. So I walk in, and not more than 3 minutes later, the HR guy walks in.
Do.
And the phone rings, and it's my boss again. I'm like, okay.
Oh, man.
Oh, here it comes. And this is the best part. They're like, we're going through a really difficult time here, and we've had to make some cutbacks. We're really sorry. And it's not you, we promise. It's just,
it's not you, it's me.
Yeah, right? The epitome. And I'm sitting here going, oh, this is hilarious because I'm getting ready to give my notice. Can I say this online? Are they going to ask for the money back? They gave me a severance. They did.
It was awesome. We're like, look at that. We're even better off than if he'd just given his notice.
Yeah. So
what a blessing.
It was a huge blessing. We're like, this is great. So we end up going on this huge road trip, had an absolute blast driving across the country, seeing parts of this country we've never seen before. Our kids got to experience and see new things. Have you ever had those moments in life where it's like, it just doesn't get any better? This is amazing. It's high flying. We've got the money. We've got the vacation. We've got everything is going awesome.
And it did. It went really well for like a good 8 months.
Yeah.
8 months.
And
then
it's like, I don't even know what happened other than
God started giving us these like inklings that a change needed to happen. What were you going to say?
It was like the rug got pulled out from underneath us because yes, he was giving us inklings that we needed to move. Now this made no sense at all. Gorgeous home, beautiful neighborhood. We loved our congregation, our ward. We loved the people.
Beautiful pool.
Oh, yeah. We had season passes to Disney and to Universal. We went to the beach. My dad lived right down the road. People would come visit us because we lived in Florida. I mean, tropical gloriousness. And all of a sudden we started getting these inklings like we were supposed to move. I'm going, what is going on? What do you mean we're supposed to move? Now, I don't know if anyone's ever had that experience where everything is going right, everything is going well, and you're feeling this. Only way I could describe it is this spiritual pull that you're in the wrong place.
Yep. Something's not right. And you know that change is coming. Oh, when you know change is coming. And Mark and I start talking about it. The kids heard us talking about it. They're like, oh, gosh, here we go. And we don't want to move. Nobody wanted to move from Florida because we all loved it. And we thought we'd be there a long time. We thought we were there for a while. And so then probably because we were too stubborn to do it any other way, my business starts tanking.
Because we didn't listen to God the first time.
Okay, maybe.
Right?
But it was, yeah. And I'm not I'm not talking about tanking like as in nothing. We got there eventually, but it just like enough that we were like, okay, he's trying to get he'd been coaching for years, but this was the period of time where we decided that he was going to give his notice so that he could start building his own coaching practice. And, I was making enough money to support the family while he's getting his own business going. And
it was safe.
It was safe. It was all going to be safe, and it was all going to work out perfect. And oh gosh, I mean, it was fun, but we had some early trials that we'll talk about some other time, but like learning how to work together, learning how to like me let go of all the things that I thought were important and give him, let him have a piece of it. Like all of that was really, but we'd gotten through all that. But then about the time that we're thinking we've got it figured out, and then sales start dropping. And just enough that his business isn't in a place where it needs to be yet.
And so I started looking for jobs.
Across the country.
No, across the world. I was looking at Saudi Arabia.
No, it stressed me out so bad. I'm like, I don't want to move to Saudi Arabia.
I was looking in Japan because I absolutely love Japan. I thought, I could live there, and I still could live there.
And I said, grandbabies.
And I said, okay, you're right. Well, I was looking for jobs all over the place. And then we took that 5-week.
Another one. This was our second 5-week road trip. Yeah, this is our second
5-week road trip. And I'll tell you, that was different because I think as soon as we pulled out of the driveway, we put on a different set of lens. We were looking through different glasses, and it was now the glass of where are we supposed to be? And we drove up through South Carolina, North Carolina. We were up in Tennessee, up to Ohio, visiting family. We went through Chicago.
Got to see the Corn Palace. Thank you very much. That was cool.
That if you've never seen the Corn Palace,
go.
Definitely look that one up.
Got to see the Presidents on the Rocks. What's that called? Mount Rushmore.
Got to experience a lot of cool things. But everywhere we turned, we kept looking. Is this where we're moving? Is this where we need to be? Or, maybe this is it.
Are you my new home? You know that book, Are You My Mother? That kid's book. It's like, are you my new home?
Ooh, that could be a great book for a real estate agent. Are you my new home?
Are you my new home?
And funny thing happened. We drove all the way down to Arizona. We dropped off our youngest kids, the two that were still at home, to be with our oldest daughter. You remember the one with the 3-month gestational period with us? Yeah, that one.
That one.
It was
Who's
awesome.
now got kids of her own.
Yes, so fun.
Fast forward a few years.
And then we went to a convention out in California, and I don't know what happened there. Oh, I do know what happened. Oh, no way. One of the keynote speakers was talking about creating a list of your dreams and your dream life. And it was hard because he wanted us to create a list of 100 dreams. And he was
the dreamers.
Yeah, the
couldn't
dreamers.
come up with 100.
No, I got over 50.
I don't think I even got to 50.
Really?
That was hard.
So we start dreaming about where could we go. And it was on the trip back from Anaheim to the Phoenix area. Oh, wait, no. This is what I say because it sounds so much better.
Yes, it's not Phoenix.
No. People hear Phoenix and like, yeah, Phoenix, that's just hot. So we were on our way from Anaheim to just outside of Scottsdale.
I mean, you could have said Hollywood to Scottsdale, and then it would sound even better.
Oh, you're so right. So we were over outside of Hollywood, and we were going to outside of Scottsdale, Arizona. When all of a sudden we're cresting this hill, and you and I had the same impression at the same time.
Arizona.
What the heck?
And then we had a long conversation about that and what that looked like and the fact that he didn't even have a job that would justify us moving. Now we were talking about utilizing our savings to move across the country instead of having a job that would help us move across the country.
Imagine having that conversation as an adult with your parents. Hey, Dad, I know it was always been your dream for us to live in Florida, to be close to you. We have this glorious home, a beautiful pool. We go to the beach. We go to the parks. We see you all the time. And, oh, by the way, we're moving without a job.
Surprise.
We love you. And he thought we were
crazy,
insane.
And he was sad.
He was so sad.
That was hard. It was hard. It was on that drive with that conversation that Mark and I knew that what we needed to do was to take a leap of faith. That if the prompting that we'd received, the personal revelation from God that we'd received was that Arizona was where we were supposed to be, that we then needed to act on that revelation, and we needed to move. So
we did it. Not only did we do it,
we did it fast.
If there's one thing you need to know about Mark and Becky is when we make a decision, we go all in real fast. But
sometimes.
But there's a philosophy I have about that. It's about, and I've seen some really cool studies about people that are really successful, that they fail often, they fail fast, and they fail often. But see, the quicker you could get to fail, the quicker you can learn that that was not the way, and the more likely it is that you'll find the right way.
And I think not only that, the more you realize that it's not actually failing.
No, it's not. I've never failed in life. I have never failed.
We've learned.
There was that test.
Well, we won't talk about that. there was that semester. We won't talk about that either.
And the other semester. Oh, whatever. But I've never failed in life. I've never failed in business. Mm-hmm. I've only learned.
So, the reality is it came down to this. When we had moved from Utah to Florida, we had done it mid-year, and it was really hard on our kids. And so we decided that if we were going to move again, we were either going to move immediately because the school year was starting in Florida, or we were going to wait until the end of that school year and move. And we knew it was supposed to be immediate. So we got home, packed up the house in 2 weeks, and then I turned right back around and drove back to Arizona to get the kids registered in school, because it turns out that school starts way earlier in Arizona than it did in Florida.
What do they call it? A modified year-round?
Something like that. Honestly, it's too hot here to go to do anything other than just go to school. So we take our breaks in the spring and fall. We have longer breaks in the spring and fall.
Yeah.
And it works really well. But God was so good with that, because I pulled into town, and it turned out that if I had been even 2 days later, my kids would not have gotten any credit for that semester. They would have been too late to get credit for the semester. So we got there just in time, but we had to leave Mark behind.
You know, that was really weird, because I used to travel a lot for business many jobs ago, and now all of a sudden we're working together. We've been working together for over a year. We do everything together. We're completely inseparable. We're back in high school.
I know.
And now all of a sudden you're gone. And
Yeah.
I'm having to finish getting the house ready for sale. And I start packing up. I put things into storage. I had a calling in our church where, because of my particular calling, needed to wait for a replacement. It's not one that you could just kind of walk away from, or at least they really don't want you to. I had to wait for that whole process. Mm-hmm. And
there was a lot to wrap up.
And during this time, still felt very firmly like this is where we're supposed to go. We're faithfully going to listen to the call. We're going to do exactly what the Lord wants us to do. And hurricane
season, you guys. I don't know if you remember 2017 with the one that hit Texas,
Harvey,
the one that hit New Orleans.
Yeah. So there was a series of 3 storms that hit in a row. Harvey was major destruction along Texas and Louisiana. And then right after that was Irma. Oh, Miss Irma was on her way to visit. And here I am. We've already been through a couple hurricanes. So it's like, not a big deal. And I'm looking around the house. I'm going, I have no food, no water, no flashlights, no batteries. I have no way of getting the windows secured.
Boarded up.
Yeah.
No tools.
The gas stations were out of fuel. Mm-hmm. The grocery stores didn't have water. They didn't have food. They were shuttered. And I'm sitting here going, I'm a sitting duck. And this is a major hurricane. It was a Category 5 hurricane. And as it's coming into Florida, I'm looking around, I'm going, what am I doing? This is insane. And really cool blessing happened. I love this because there was this one particular individual I really felt like I needed to say goodbye to. And he lived close, but he worked quite a ways away. And I drove out to see him, wish him well. And on the way back, there was a gas station outside of Christmas, Florida. What a great symbolism that there was a town called Christmas and there was gas. And I was able to fuel up one of the few stations that had fuel. I got back to the house and I had made the decision that the very next morning I was going to get up early and I was going to leave.
Locked the door.
That was all I had to do. I literally locked the door, hopped in the car, and I got on the freeway, and I felt like I was in a movie because there were cars all over. People run out of gas. The rest stops had a line of cars 2 to 3 miles long of people just left and right, just
Insane.
stopped. And I'm sitting here going, what a blessing. I just got fuel. And I made it all the way up to the Panhandle. But remember, Harvey had just gone through over there on the Alabama, Louisiana, and Texas. And there was no gas to be found. So I had to find a little bitty gas station off the beaten path. And I think about the symbolism of all of this. I think about how, life is fantastic. Life is great. Oh, you're supposed to move. No, I don't want to move. Okay, fine. Let's have destruction come. Your business starts crashing down. Okay, fine. I'll find a new job. Can't find anything. Well, I'll stay here for a little bit, get everything ready. No, you're supposed to leave now. Another storm. Now, I'm not saying I was the cause of Hurricane Irma.
That's not part of the story, I promise.
But it felt like it.
Right.
It felt like it to me that it was that big storm that was forcing me out of my garden.
It was a foreshadowing. I would say, like, when you watch the movie and you're like, oh, there's the part. Something's happening, right? You can see what's happening down the road. And that storm was literally a foreshadowing for what the next 3 years would bring for us. We move. Mark pulls into town after, the gas issues and all of that to get to Arizona. And then we have our house on the market and we have people that come in and vandalize it. And then we have, at a time when houses are selling like crazy and ours isn't selling. And then by the time we finally get it sold, sells for much less than it would have sold if it sold with all the other houses that sold. And
yay us.
Yay us. And then at that point, mind you, we don't have a job and my sales are going down and down and down with my business. So then all of that equity that we should have been putting into a house in Arizona becomes what we live on. And that lasts us months, thankfully, but, very tight.
Yeah.
And then that runs out. And we still can't find a job. My business isn't doing what it needs to do. Other businesses that we're trying are not doing what it needs to do. And everything that we had sacrificed so much for let's see. We got married in 1991, and this is 2017, so that's math?
26 years.
26 years. Everything that we'd sacrificed in 26 years was like for nothing. At least that's how it felt like.
Yeah. But it wasn't just that. It was, I really felt like the Lord had called us to move. And in my life, I have always expected if the Lord calls me to do something and I do it, that I will be blessed, right?
Right.
And all of a sudden, we're not blessed.
At least it doesn't feel like it. I mean, we know we were, but it doesn't feel like it when you're going through a midlife crisis of the proportion that we went through. We lost everything. We used up our whole savings. We used up our whole retirement.
I really felt like a failure. I felt like I let the whole family down. I felt like a farce. I felt like I let my dad down. We had a great life there. I know I really felt strongly like I let you down and the kids down. I was really going, and if I look back at that time, my mindset just started getting darker and darker and darker.
Yeah. And me too. I mean, I was supposed to be bringing in the money to support you while you were getting your business off the ground, and I couldn't do that.
Yeah.
And I felt like I was failing you and I was failing the family. Amidst so many blessings was just so much heartache and so many tears shed, like hard, raw tears, and so many prayers to God, just like, where are you? Where are you at this time when we sacrificed everything to do what you asked? And here we sit with, like, it felt destitute.
Oh yeah.
It felt destitute.
I know my prayers changed. I got angry.
Yeah.
I got depressed. I got very agitated. And I really felt like, why had the Lord taken us through so much? Why were we able to get through so many trials and tribulations, but now it felt like it was the end? And I remember a breaking point for me. Where, one of the things that we've always said was, we have a firm belief, a fierce belief that you don't give up. We have a fierce belief that everything is figure outable, that you could figure out what the next thing was. And we were delivering groceries for people. And the car broke down in the grocery store parking lot. That was tough. That was really tough that day. I remember breaking down and just feeling like, is this it? Is this all that I have to look forward to in life?
Yeah. I remember having to go through a conversation with myself, and I think that we had the conversation together as well. I've always had very firm faith in God and his plan, and it got dark enough that I had to figure out if I really believed in God. And I went through that. What is my belief? Where does my faith lie? And I remember one day as we were talking, and I'm kind of telling this scary thing that I'm thinking about, like, where is my Heavenly Father in all of this? And then I just had this moment where I was like, hang on. If I don't believe in him, what's going to change? Like, is everything miraculously just going to get better? And I realized it's not. And the only thing that brought me joy was going to our house of worship or singing hymns, and if that was the only thing that brought me peace, then giving up on God was not going to do anything for me except let go of the only little bit of peace that I had left in my life.
Yeah.
And it was really in that conversation, in that moment where I had to dig deep enough to really solidify, I know God lives. And I know that he's watching over us. And I don't know how it's going to work out. And I don't know when it's going to work out. But it's going to work out.
I think it was during that same time period, I was having the same thoughts. And I knew I had to see the world differently. In order to be able to, for me, to see the hand of the Lord, I had to see the world differently. And it became a very conscientious choice for me because we were so dark and we had gone through so much and we felt like we had lost everything. And gratefully, there's a lot of things we never lost. We never lost each other.
Yeah.
And there were days that was the only thing I could hold on to was your hand. Because I wasn't faithful enough at the moment to cling unto the Lord. So I had your hand. And then, but I knew that if things were going to change, I had to change how I viewed the world. I had to change how I looked at things and really bring a new perspective with how I was going to approach every single day. And that was May.
Mindset May. That was the turning point.
I'm realizing we have 3 anniversaries. We have 3 anniversaries. No, we have not been married 3 times. We were married civilly July 1st. Sorry, July 2nd. Wow. I did a man thing. Did you hear that?
Sorry, babe.
July 2nd. A year later, September 5th, we have a religious sealing. And so furthering our marital covenants with one another. And then we have Mindset May. And those are the 3 anniversaries that I probably celebrate the most in my life are those 3 things, because those are the 3 parts of my life that have changed everything. The day that we got married changed everything. The day that we were sealed changed everything. The day that we began to focus on mindset changed everything.
Everything. And it was interesting how during our Mindset May, we really did studying separately. There wasn't a whole lot of we learned the same things, but we did it on our own time frame. During that month, we both just did a lot of studying on how the adversary works on our thoughts and what God wants us to think of ourselves and the power that we have in choosing to think differently about our situation. And my goodness, nothing changed. Nothing changed immediately, but everything changed in our perspective.
Oh, yeah.
Like suddenly the trials were just different. Like we could handle it.
You know what I love about it? I'm a mindset expert. For the love, I'm a mindset expert and have been for many years. And here I was having a mindset crisis.
It's kind of like a mechanic and how their cars are always broken down.
Yes.
It was a little bit of that. Like you had to, or the guy who works on computers, but his own computers aren't working. I think it was a little bit of that.
Or a skinny chef.
Never trust a skinny chef.
No, it absolutely is true. And so that May, everything changed. And yet it wasn't an instantaneous, and nor was it I want to clear this up because people go, oh, you just have to think happy thoughts.
No.
Yeah. How long does just think happy thoughts work for you?
Depending on the trial, you can't even get to the happy thought.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, and I cannot wait until we do our full episode and do a deep dive in mindset and how to really improve and focus on mindset. And I cannot wait for that.
Me too.
I cannot wait for you to download the 3 things, the 3 uncommon things that you can do to improve your mindset today. So definitely go to happinessbreakthrough.com/uncommon.
It's a
And
good start. It's a really great start.
it's a great start. But I would say those 3 anniversaries are the most important anniversaries in my life that have helped me become who I am today. But all 3 of them have one thing in common. Intentional.
Ooh, that was good. I didn't know where you were going to go with that. Intentional.
We intentionally got married. We intentionally got sealed, and we intentionally worked on our individual mindset. Gratefully, we were doing it together.
Yeah. Yes. I see a lot of couples struggling, and one is ready to make changes, and the other one isn't ready to make changes yet, and that puts a stress, a burden,
Yes,
on the relationship, and I'm really thankful for that too. That we were both in a place where we were ready to hear it, and I would say that that's probably one of the greatest blessings that I see out of that greatest trial of our faith was that God had led us to a point where we could find the information and we were ready. We were probably humble enough to be able to just dive in, and we were desperate enough for change that we were ready to hear everything that God had laid out in front of us.
but I think that's the very thing about where we are right now in our life. As I think about, owning multiple businesses, when I think about this whole idea of being able to be a mindset expert, to be a coach, to have you in school, to have you join me on stage, to really just as I think about how we accomplish our daily day right now, it is an intentional shift on what we focus on. And I think when we made that intentional shift for that mindset suddenly new options appeared. I believe they were always there, but we just finally had the glasses to be able to see the new options.
Yes. I love to say that all the time, and it's all about like the universe. The universe will just present itself to you, and you just have to think about it. It's so much more deeper than that. And it's so much more beautiful because it's a loving Heavenly Father who is ready to bless you, but you have to be open to it. And it's not just some magical fairy dust. It's not some it's you intentionally being open to seeing what He already has for you. Do
you know how I define manifesting?
Tell me.
I define manifesting because as I think about The Secret, or I think about people that go, oh, well, you manifested that. I go, no, that was a dream with action.
Love that.
I think manifesting is just a dream with action. If I look at my life right now, we are in phenomenal action all the time.
All the time. And that's the key to everything that we're able to accomplish.
Intentional
action all the time. But that doesn't mean we don't take a break, because we do take breaks.
Oh, absolutely. That's funny that you bring that up. Definitely when you go download the 3 uncommon things at thehappinessbreakthrough.com/uncommon, I give some ideas in there of ways to take breaks. Ooh, I shouldn't have said too much. Let's just say I give a whole bunch of ideas, regardless of where you are financially, of what you can do right now to reset. Yeah. I won't say too much because I really want you to read it. It just really is like a mini chapter.
It just pulls you in. It's so good, and so it's so powerful and an easy way to get started. But I just am in awe at how much thinking differently about your situation, choosing to find the joy. There's so much science. Mark talks about this all the time. There's so much science behind finding ways to be grateful in your life, regardless of the situation. And let me share with you that since our Mindset May a few years ago, it's not like we have not experienced trial because, trust me, we've still had plenty of it.
We have employees. I'm not saying we have had to fire anyone recently, but if we had, it takes a toll on you emotionally and mentally and physically and spiritually. So I think there's other ways. It's not just that, because not everyone has an employee that they've had to fire or not, or that they have a business that they're trying to grow or trying to keep afloat or not. I think those trials happen just through life.
Yeah. We've had children with massive heartache trial that they've experienced, which takes a toll on, I mean, you guys know what your children go through, you as parents experience, right?
You
feel it. And so we've had a lot of that over the last year. We've got these two businesses that we're running that daily have had a new fire come up. We've got, an ice cream machine that breaks, or a dipping cabinet that breaks, or there's just daily things that come up. And we have to be intentional about how we're going to feel about it and what we're going to do. Talk ourselves through it all the time.
As you think about how we are living our life right now and the experiences that we're having, the positive and the negative, and we've talked about mindset, is there any particular tool or something that you do that helps you reset your mindset or keep you focused on the most important things when it feels like you're living in a dumpster fire?
Yeah, it's the way I talk to myself.
Ooh.
I have to be really intentional. I'll get really negative in my head about everything. The harder things get, the more negative I am. And I will catch myself in what I'm thinking. And I think this comes through practice. I think that it's easier for me to do now than it was a few years ago. But I have to recognize the thoughts, and then I have to literally tell myself, that's not how I want to react to this. That's not how I want to think about this. And then I have to walk myself through changing how I'm feeling about it and changing, reframing how I'm going to step into whatever the hard thing is and find a different way to fix it or to figure it out.
For those spouses that feel like, your loved one doesn't necessarily listen to you, that was pretty good, Beck. Yeah, I know where you got that. That's pretty good.
Did you like the word reframing?
Reframing and
thanks, babe.
Man.
I learned from the best.
So, okay, I love that one, and that was actually probably one of the ones I was going to bring up. If you were to ask me the same question, that's a great question. Yes, I'll answer that, of course.
What do you do, Mark?
What do I do? Funny that you ask. One of the things that I do is I listen to my wife.
Oh, thanks.
No, I'm actually being very serious. It comes across as kind of a joke, but Becky is more even keel than I am, and I have higher highs and lower lows, and I have an incredible ability to live my life in a roller coaster if I'm out of control. And so I find that, and she's so good at this, because I will get upset at something, and what used to have me go down a negative hole and be very bad for a long time, I can now cycle out of that very, very quickly. But one of the things that I've practiced doing is listening to you, because you remain calm in the fire when I may be just with my hair on fire. You remain calm. My hair is on fire. So for me, it is listening to you, but also listening to what you intend, not necessarily what you say. Because you may phrase it differently than me. And some couples get really upset that, oh, well, she did this, she said that. And it's like, yeah, but what does she mean by that? So for me, I step back and I listen to what you mean to say. And then I also reframe. So I think those are great things that we use right now. And I'm super excited about the next several podcast episodes where we're going to talk about this journey that we're going to take people on.
Yeah, because I think you heard all the hard, but what was on the other end of the hard was
the
things,
the beach of life.
Yes, the beach for our 30th anniversary.
Yes,
but no, to that point, as after we changed our mindset, we still kept doing the same things. We had to work our guts out. However, some beautiful opportunities presented themselves. Some of that was coaching that Mark was able to do. Some of that was the two businesses that we found a business partner and went into business, and we've been doing these businesses. And some of it was the journey that I went through that helped me to realize that I wanted to go back and get an education. And all of these things have been so fulfilling, and we live a really beautiful life. But the really great realization is that we lived a really beautiful life when we were going through our biggest trial of our faith too. That we learned the things that we learned, that we'll share a lot of this journey with you over time. But the things that we learned during those darkest times were actually the things that catapulted our business when we finally opened our business. We had to learn how to be really creative in marketing, and we had to learn how to connect with people and learn how to network, but not cheesy networking, like really listening to people and understanding it, and all of these beautiful nuances of things that were like we thought were just nothing as we were trying anything we could to make a living for our family again, ended up being the very skills that we needed. And it all came together. All came together when we opened our businesses, and that's where we are now. It's just a much different place that we want to share with you.
Who knew that being a janitor back in college would be so beneficial now? All right, you guys. Make sure you go download the 3 uncommon things that will really improve your mindset right now. Go to thehappinessbreakthrough.com/uncommon. And we cannot wait till our next episode where we will talk about the journey and where we're going to help take you, because we've been through it. We've been through the fire. We've been through the other side. Oh, by the way, we stepped back into the fire and we're back on the other side. We know how to lose it all and gain it all. And we want to share some of those insights with you, because I think if there's something that this world needs right now, it is a greater focus on positivity.
And hope.
Oh,
hope.
I love hope.
We are going to talk a lot about hope.
Absolutely. So with that, thank you for listening to the Happiness Breakthrough. Make sure that you share this, that you like it, wherever you are listening to this, that you invite your friends to follow along in our journey as we really invite you into our life, invite you into what we have done to become so successful. But this is not going to be a look at all the great things that we have podcast. This is going to be a look at how we did this. We want to teach you to be successful and have that excellent life too. Until you have your happiness breakthrough, we'll see you soon.